the principal point, I never seen 13. Never showed to me. Even I got problem with a lawyer in Polk County Jail. Get papers. I didn't see which woman. The woman here is a nurse. Simple as that.
Okay, thank you, sir. Now, we don't want you. We want you to sit back and let us deliberate without engaging us, please. Thank you.
Moses, this is no laughing matter. As a matter of fact, the person who we are watching come up for parole again, he has more than 50 convictions on his record, not arrests, convictions. So again, for those of you who think the state of Iowa is safe, I don't know why I assume that as well. It is just a joke. 50 convictions, and we'll go over all 50. But why he is up for parole? He's up for parole because he stalked a 13-year-old, I guess starting at the age of 11, for 2 years before they finally locked him up. And just a couple years after that conviction, he is already up for parole. Anyways, we're going to watch this really joke of a parole hearing. It just blows my mind of how unprofessional it is from start to finish. You couldn't believe it if you didn't see it. Governor of Iowa, you handpicked these parole board members. You need to hold yourself accountable and make some changes because this is an embarrassment to your state.
Hello, Aaron.
Yes, sir.
Hey, how does he prefer English or Spanish?
So he understands English. I didn't have any problem with conversation with him. He does have a very strong accent and he talks fast. So I've at times had to tell him to slow down as I'm talking to him. So you might have to do that on things for him. But otherwise, he didn't have any trouble understanding me when I talked to him.
He didn't.
Mhm.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure, because if that's the case, then we're in good hands with mi hermano, Jesse Rincon, my brother, if you will, and he can speak in Spanish, to help if that preference is needed.
Okay, you could ask him too if he prefer to speak in Spanish. I don't have that option, so I don't ever ask him.
Hey, I'm gonna say to you, no problemo.
Yes.
No, that's all. Anything else that would highlight that change or anything that when this evaluation was submitted?
No behavior change anyway. The only thing that's changed is he's in protected custody now from when this was originally written up by Jeff Cook. And so he's not eligible for employment at this time. He's just got to go through the process. And he hasn't been back here long enough for that. So he's no longer employed, but he doesn't have any major reports or anything like that since that one that was noted on the report. So.
All right. Okay, colleagues, any questions you have for her?
I do have a question. So we have a pretty limited time frame with him, and I'm gonna guess based on the treatment notes from Newton that we're not gonna have a great conversation with him as far as taking accountability for the crime. And so our decision really is deciding whether to send him through work release to have eyes on him or to TDD him out. And if we TDD'd him out, would he be able to go anywhere other than back to the shelter that he was at when this happened? Does he have any family?
We could ask him what I think he's got a daughter, I believe it was in Des Moines, but at the same time, I don't know, how connected they are, if she'd be willing to let him in there. And so I think that's why it was like, well, let's at least get him to the workplace, at least get him a job lined up so he can have some kind of money and look for an apartment before discharging at least, rather than just straight to a homeless shelter.
Yeah, because that's where he was living during this crime is also my concern too. He was at CIS then, so Just letting you know kind of where we're at.
Yeah,
After reading
nope.
those treatment
Had the
notes.
same thoughts as well, and what's the best case for him? So doesn't recommit or put him out, so then he's in the process of, well, I have to just try.
Has he had any other, like, have you noticed, I know you haven't had him long, but any other like delusions or inability to like recognize when people don't want a relationship with him, or like thinking that relationships are closer than they really are?
I haven't had him long enough to realize that or have those conversations with him to know. Just reading through his last major report and seeing things as to where his mind might be at is what I'm kind of going off of.
It's a tough one.
Mhm.
Yeah.
This is.
All right, well, thank you, I appreciate it.
Thank you, and hey, colleagues, any other questions for Aaron? Sure. All right, Aaron, you go ahead and bring him on in.
My name is Juan de la Garza, and my number is 688-9682.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Delagalzo. Did I say that okay?
Yes,
Thank you, sir. My name is James Moses. To my left in the middle is Meredith Lamberti. And to her left and to your right is Jesse Rincon. And we represent the Board of Parole panel that will conduct your interview for today. Know that this is a public forum, and the public and the media can listen in. However, they will not participate in this interview. Information that can be discussed during this interview can talk about personal and confidential information, like your medical history, your mental health history, your substance abuse history, your treatment history, and other confidential information. Is that what you are to understand?
yes,
And do you wish to continue and proceed?
yes, sir.
Okay, so each of the three of us will likely go over and ask you some questions. And then we just ask you to share with answering in those questions. And from your answers, some of us may have more than others. But we ask you to just be direct but maybe brief to those answers. And then once you've concluded, I will look to come back to you from when those questions are done to see if you have any other bits of information that may have come up along the way from our interview, to see if you have something else to share with us before we go into what is called deliberations, meaning that we'll ask you to sit back and not engage with us, but for us to talk about the interview and come up with an outcome for your potential release. Then from that, I will look to come back to you to try to explain how all that went, to let you know what those results are, because we're going to make a decision from our interview today. Does that make sense?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So with that being said, can you give us what was going on? What led to what was kind of happening that led to your incarceration and being incarcerated?
Well, to them, they say there was a stalking. And I misunderstood stalking for stalking. That reopened the case in Newton. And I went to the class. I went and fighting with the directors and everything. And a situation was with a lady over there, the coordinator. And they removed for sex offender, removed for everything. So I was supposed to get out from over there one more classification. So and then I got a situation with Alice one. They say I was talking some bad words about her. I never tell in the face, nothing like that. And then they sent me here. I already paid the whole. I pay over there in the hall, and they send me here because I don't get along with Alice one. I don't know why. I never spoke with her. And people from here, the council, say they wanna send papers to get kicking me out faster from here because I'm supposed to move out from Newton. And I'm here, and they told me they wanna send papers to kick me out.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm going to, would you prefer to speak in Spanish?
Doesn't
Espanol?
matter. Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter?
You want to do it, do it.
Okay, well, the reason why I asked is for me, you spoke a little fast and
Okay, okay.
it was hard
Oh,
to
All right. Let me slow
understand
down.
everything that you shared, and I want to make sure that
Okay.
I consume all what you're saying. And so if you have a preference, then we have someone that can speak in Spanish with you.
And I'm just gonna say, the question he asked you was, what happened that day? What was the crime that you did? Lo que él quiere saber es lo que pasó el día de la crema con el menor.
Son mentiras.
He says they're lies.
No, what?
They're lies.
That's what I heard. I thought I
¿Por
heard.
qué son
Son
mentiras?
Porque no hubo ni una menor. No hablé con nadie ni menor, nadie. La que trabajaba en el restaurante es la que vi aquí. Bueno, de ese momento hasta ahorita, la que trabajaba en el restaurante, que ellos vinieron conmigo, la dueña y la persona conmigo, trabaja aquí, en esta cárcel.
Entonces, ¿qué persona quién fue la persona que estabas tratando de visitar?
No visité, ellos me visitaron. Ellos trabajaban en el restaurante.
Sí.
Yo no los visité, ellos vinieron a mí.
¿A dónde?
Yo estaba en la esquina, en Des Moines, en las 6, en Walnut. Walnut.
Sí, yo sé dónde está eso.
Hay un restaurante ahí, cruzar la calle de Burger King o el US Bank, right? El restaurante está ahí.
So, lo que pasó es ellas,
La mamá y a la dueña, 3 trabajadoras, no sé si sean familia o no, ellos vinieron a mí y uno me dice, si tú quieres sexo, tienes que casarte conmigo. Y yo no dije nada. Se fueron en una van blanca. Entonces le platiqué el que estaba enseguida de mí porque yo andaba buscando apartamento, otro. Y le dije, ¿dónde trabaja esa gente que vino? Y me dijo, no, trabajan ahí en el restaurante. Pero yo no tenía tiempo de ir ahí. So, cuando yo fui y le dije, ¿por qué me dijeron eso? Porque que yo no quiero problemas con nadie. Ella me dijo, no, es que andan diciendo que yo te escogí a ti, pero ¿cómo?
dame
Y
un
no
momento,
pasa nada.
dame un momento. So he's saying that he never went in the restaurant originally, that he was on that corner of Walnut and whatever, and they approached him, and one of the owners asked him if he wanted to have sex. So he didn't have time. He said he didn't say anything to her. So then he went back there and asked them, why did you say that? And that's where we're at right now. And he said it wasn't a minor that he was stalking.
What about the letters?
Y no fue unas letras que lo mandaste al menor.
No, bueno, o sea, no era menor, pero ella me seguía, una persona, no sé si eran hermanos, me seguían afuera diciéndome que si querías, ella me dijo así, si tú quieres sexo tienes que casarte conmigo. ¿Ya me entendió la palabra? La letra.
Sí, yo entiendo
Ok,
bien, pero
me
ese fue el
seguía
dueño, que estaba
la
diciendo.
dueña, la
La
dueña.
dueña. He's saying that the owner of the place is the one that he was pursuing, the mom. La mamá, ¿verdad?
La mamá con la hija. Fueron 3 mujeres que trabajan en el restaurante y una fue la que me dijo a mí.
Pero ¿quién fue que lo mandase letras? Who did
No,
you
yo
send
la
the
ponía,
letters to?
yo la ponía en la agenda, en la agarradera del restaurante, a las
¿Para
4:30.
quién? ¿Para
¿Eh?
quién?
A esa muchacha, yo no sabía ni cómo se llamaba. Era
Pero-
ella la que me dijo.
Pero ese fue el dueño o el menor?
No, no había menor ahí.
Dice, pero ¿quién quería que lo ganó las letras? ¿Quién queriste?
Yo le dije a ella así, tú me dijiste que si quieres sexo tienes que casarte conmigo, así me dijo. So, yo le puse la letra en la agarradera de la puerta. Ok, te quiero ver en la corte, está a 3 cuadras de ahí. Y le puse 2 veces, una vez al mes o 2 meses, y nunca se apareció. Entonces dije, están jugando más conmigo, me están puleando. Entonces llega otra persona y se llama Alice Swank, la coordinadora de Newton, escuchándome que le era cuestionar a otra vez. ¿Por qué me dicen eso? Pero yo no hice nada mal, ellos vinieron a mí, yo no los busqué a ellos.
Okay, un momento. So basically he's saying that bottom line is he didn't pursue a minor. They approached him at offer one of them, I think it was the owner, approached him, asked if he wanted sex. He put letters on the door intended to go to the girl. He said he never approached a minor. So he says it's all lies. Yeah. What would you like me to ask him here? Anything else? Let me ask.
Does he think?
Two, and then I'll.
There you go. Did anyone ever respond to your letters, and how many did you send?
No. La razón que yo dejaba ahí era para que te pararan o porque quería saber por qué están búsqueme en todo el downtown de Iowa, digo, de Illinois. And then cuando la policía, el papá, yo no sabía que era el papá, es Gary Newman. Dice, hey, no pases por aquí, ella tiene 13 años, él me dijo.
Here to
Y yo
you.
dije, pues, ¿cuál es 13 años? Yo no dije nada, y pues yo no sé por qué me paran. Después pasé a una licorería y llega ahí y dice, hey, ¿qué estás haciendo? ¿De dónde vienes? Vengo de atrás. No vengas aquí a molestar, aquí molesté. A nadie me ando molestando. El siguiente me dice, no pases por aquí. No me está dando restricción ni nada, yo no estoy, igual, le obedecí. No estoy diciendo nada mal. Pero no me llevó ni a corte ni que no pases por ahí. Es un restaurante. Yo como en downtown, ahí en los restaurantes. Pero nunca la molesté. No era menor de edad.
All right, there goes the count.
Un momento.
Yeah.
So he's saying that when he put the letters there, they weren't meant for no minor. He was approached by the cop. They told him that there's somebody girl here that's 13 years old, whatever. And he's like, there was no 13-year-old one. That's not who it was intended for. He was told not to come back here, but he was never served a trespass or anything like that. He said he was just told there was a minor there. So he thought it was a restaurant, so he kept coming back.
Okay.
The content of the letters is kind of,
I don't think I have any other questions.
do you have any other questions? So are you saying that the charges you are on for are all lies, son mentiras?
Yeah, sí, sí, yes. ¿Por qué? ¿Le puedo decir algo?
Sí,
Porque una de las personas que me andaban siguiendo afuera, y la conozco porque hablé en Newton. Cuando fui a Newton me dijo así, bueno, tú no le obedeciste a Lisa. ¿Quién es Lisa? Lisa Newman, la dueña del restaurante. Ok. Entonces me vio, yo hablé con ella, le dije, ¿por qué estoy haciendo aquí? ¿Por qué me está haciendo mal esto? Entonces dice, porque no le escuchas a Lisa. Y luego me fui a la unidad porque trabajaba con ella. Iba a la mitad de escaleras porque se veía el segundo piso. Me dice, hey, quiero hablar contigo. Y el cáncer enfrente de mí le dice, no, él siempre está dentro, nunca baja ni habla con nadie. Aquí vas a estar 5 años porque yo no creo que ellas son millonarias enfrente del cáncer. Cuando me mandaron a la clase, le dije, quiero hablar con Alice Swank, que voy a decir la historia. Y dijo, y no me querían que hablara con ella. Hablé mucha gente que hablara, no quiso. El cáncer que estaba ahí me dice, no, no la moleste, ok. Cuando fui a hacer la clase, le dije al maestro, voy a poner a Alice Swank. ¿Por qué? Porque por eso estoy yo aquí. Ella me perseguía afuera, porque le era oportunidad a quién. Entonces la mandé al director y al CEO. Me agarró el trasero en la cantina y me dijo que tenía que cantarle y casar a alguien. Y el director me dice, ¿tienes testigos? Y dice el cáncer que trabaja, digo, I'm sorry, es el CEO que trabaja ahí las 2 veces. Y así estuvo y me quitaron de todo esto. Entonces estaba esperando una más reestructuración para que me sacaran y me sacan que él y ella escogió a alguien más porque yo no le ponía atención y me sacaron por acá. Okay. Cuando vengo por acá,
todo eso no vale ahorita.
Okay.
La cosa es, what we want to know is, where did the minor come in at? Why did they accuse you of a minor? Why do you think? And tell me in English. Dime en inglés para que ellos puedan entender también.
When they say that, the police they told me, don't come here, don't come near by the restaurant because they got 13. I said, which one? I didn't tell none. I said, why did you tell me that? They didn't give me a restriction, go to court, don't pass here. It's a minor, in nothing. Okay. The lady, I put the papers in the hand door. She was here.
She was
She's a
where?
nurse.
She's a nurse here?
Yeah.
And you put the handles in the,
I found her here.
the one, the owner of the restaurant is a nurse too?
No, the lady I put the papers, the lady that told me, you want sex, you have to get married. The mother's here, the other woman here.
So the one that told you wanted sex, that's who you was putting the letters for her?
And I didn't see her since 2018. When we go out, we went out together. We make party at her and myself. I haven't seen her for that time. Now she appeared here. It's a nurse. It's the lady that I put the paper for her.
Okay, gracias.
Where were you living at the time before you came into prison?
First of all, I was used to work in Kansas City, Richmond, Missouri, with a Moyer's Farm. Because I got a lot of surgeries. I got to be athletic. I used to be a boxer. I had therapists in a hospital, Mercy Hospital, 6th Street University. I took my nose, my jaw, I got metal, knee replacement, rotator cuffs. And I go back and forth, back and forth. And, pardon me?
She wants to know where you were living.
Okay, right there in 10th Street of 4004 University
Was it apartment, house?
apartment, and the sheriff sent me to a shelter.
Okay.
I said, why? It was I thought I got a rotator cuff. I thought I left a machine. They sent me over there. I stayed there until they went back again to pick me up without doing nothing, without paper.
So
He
you were
said,
the last place you were at was at the shelter, correct?
he sent me over there, yes.
Okay, he sent you to the shelter, okay.
Yeah.
One second. Any other question?
You know anybody? Do you have any family in Des Moines or what? Why
No.
were you in Des Moines?
Well, I used to be a supervisor in Houston, but I went to work in the pig plants in Des Moines. I used to work in construction. I work academy roofing, most of the times in the pig plants. From Ottawa to Iowa City, San Joseph, Mamas, Illinois. All the way around, I work for like a fifth, what do you call it? I worked for 15 years.
Do you want to, when you do leave prison, do you want to stay in Iowa or go somewhere else?
Well, I'm from Houston, but if I fix my situation in Des Moines with a nurse in Arizona, no have problem, nothing like that, I have to fix. I got disability. This time I disability check. I need to fix it. And like I say, it's like what you say about a minor. So right now I do some lawsuit for false imprisonment claim for me to do the SOTP without be a sex offender. I remove it in Newton. Plus the time I'm here because for me I didn't do nothing wrong. Yeah, I got a lawyer. I got a lawyer, a private lawyer.
So you want to stay in Des Moines for that?
Well, I need to finish that because I don't want to go without with the problems. I want to get out with my forehead and up. No problems at all because I know a lot of people. I don't want to talk crap about the minors and this, nothing like that.
Okay.
Anything else?
No.
No, anything. Okay, Mr. De La Garza. This is where, if you have any last bit of information to please share, before we go into deliberation.
Hopefully, well, my hope is hopefully whatever I say, hopefully coming right, because the principal point I never seen 13. Never showed to me. Even I got problem with a lawyer in Polk County Jail. Get papers. I didn't see which woman. The woman here is a nurse. Simple as that.
Okay, thank you, sir. Now, we don't want you. We want you to sit back and let us deliberate without engaging us, please. Thank you. Colleagues.
Well, you guys kind of heard
Right.
my thoughts already with, we have 4.5 months left on this, before these charges TDD. It doesn't appear that there's a special sentence on them, so we are kind of running up against the clock. We have, I haven't checked lately, but I think at least a month or two wait at Fort Des Moines. I don't know if that's gone down much, but I know they've been operating on a really long wait list. So I think time frame wise, we're running up against a block there. I think even if we were to grant the work release, we probably would end up having to rescind it because he wouldn't get off the wait list, without delving into his claims about the validity of his charges. I think just simply timeframe wise, I'm gonna go ahead and deny the recommendation and just have him TDD out the charges.
How many months would that be?
What?
How many months would that be?
Oh, I think you'd need to do 5, yeah. And I'd just be looking at the major probably. So I'd say period free from institutional reports, and then probably I think seriousness fits.
So 7 and
And 10.
10. Okay. All right. Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna be in agreement with Meredith, considering what's going on with timeframes and just the testimony that we received. I'd rather TD him out as well, but 5 months with RD, I think 5. Time codes. 10 and 7.
I'm not ready to try to give them
You got it.
an insight. Mr. Della Garza, as you had a chance to hear us deliberate on your case, we are in a position where we're going to deny DOC's recommendation to release you at this time. You have a TD date of 5/1/25. So with us denying, we're going to allow you to continue out your sentence until your TDD date. Due to all that's involved, the codes that we are going to enter is the D7, which is the seriousness of the crime, and the D10, need period free from institutional reports. From the sentence that you received, there was no completion on your part for SOTP and classes that were required for you to take. Please know that when you do reach a discharge, you will still have to register. And so it is important for you to follow the rules and guidelines for that transition. We understand that you shared that you are seeking legal counsel to pursue the case in terms of how you shared with us for events by your take in terms of what you felt that happened, but due to what we saw in terms of the results, that is our decision for you today, that we are not in agreement with paroling or releasing you at this time. Did that make sense? Okay, I appreciate it. Did that make sense to you, Aaron? Okay, so that's where we're at. This concludes our interview, and good luck.
Can't believe we got a denial, and just barely. Let me just unpack this so it makes a little bit of sense. I know it can't actually make sense, but just so you get the idea, he was sentenced. Well, okay, so he had his good term date coming up May 1st of 2025. The hearing took place on January 15th, 2025. So he's getting out no matter what on good time. Now, let me just remind you how this makes no sense. He was sentenced to 11 years in prison on June 29th of 2021. So you'll say, well, about 11 years and it's 2025. And that's because Iowa, it's like Utah, their sentencing, they're gimmicks. They want to fool us all. And they were fooling me until I started seeing these parole hearings. They hand out these long sentences, but automatically you only need to serve, I think, 25% of your sentence. Plus, you can get credits. This inmate didn't get any because he didn't take any programs. He didn't do anything. He got locked up in PC, and it sounded like he offended against a nurse while he was in there, and he still gets his good time. Make that make sense. He is a danger to society. He is dangerous, a menace. Remember, over 50 arrests, and we'll go over them. But first, let's go over the facts of this case. Thank you, Sir Richard. So, written April 30th, 2020, police. Man wrote underage girl love notes for 2 years. And I love how, what's her name in the middle, whatever it is. She's like, does he have problems with understanding relationships? Like, lady, did you not do any digging into this case? How could you even ask that kind of question? A man is arrested Wednesday is accused of stalking a minor teenage girl for just under 2 years. He, who was 63 at the time, began writing the girl love notes and leaving them at the business. In July 2018, police said in a criminal complaint. This man was repeatedly asked to leave the business, but he came back repeatedly, police said. After De La Garza looked into the windows of the business on March 5th, police began investigating the incident, according to police. On March 8th, he sat outside the business for nearly 5 hours and stared intently at the victim. It made her feel uncomfortable. I just, imagine, like, how does he get away with that? Even like no one confronting him, right? Recently, De Garza began walking by the business almost daily and usually stayed if he saw the victim working. Oh, so maybe she's not. I was wrong. Because, well, no, underage. I don't know. I guess she's a family business. Police said he pressed his face up against the glass at the business. Can you imagine this face staring at you through the glass? And the DOC, you might even say the Iowa Parole Board was incompetent to listen to. It's embarrassing. They're laughing. They're the faces, the translation thing. But at least they denied. But it's the DOC that it's just the entire system that's broken. The victim's father told police that he had worried that he may physically harm the girl. I'll tell you, if I was the dad at that place, oh man. De La Garza stated in the notes he loves the victim, he wants to marry her, and he wants to have children with her. A Des Moines Police Department officer wrote in a criminal complaint. Officers also kicked him out of an alley where the trash is taken out by the business on multiple occasions. He's going through the trash. It appears as though he is obsessed with the victim, and even police advisal on multiple occasions does not curb this excessive behavior of stopping and lurking for hours, an officer wrote. This behavior appears to be so compulsive that it's even making me uncomfortable. This is from the police officer. And this guy's back in the street. De La Garza was charged with 2 counts of third-degree harassment, 1 count of trespassing, 1 count of stalking a person under the age of 18. I thought that I read that she was just like 11 years old or something. Where did I read that? But here it is now that he sentenced 11 years in prison. A Des Moines man who pled guilty to stalking a child for 2 years has been sentenced to 11 years. He was arrested April 2020 on stalking charges and harassment and trespassing. He wrote the girl's love notes and left them at the business where she worked. According to a criminal complaint in the notes, he said he wanted to marry her and have children with her. We're just going through the facts of the case. So maybe I was wrong. Maybe she wasn't that young. She was just under 18. But under 18 for 2 years. So maybe she was 6. I guess the oldest she could have been when he started was 15. There's one somewhat satisfying article where someone did get pissed off. They found him really hurt. And what did they say? They said an officer checked on him Thursday morning and said he had multiple jaw and skull fractures. And he was in the ICU unit. And basically, the story of this is that someone knocked him out because he was hitting on the girlfriend, and no one got arrested in that case. So there you have it. But let me go through now his arrest record. And this is just insane because Iowa keeps allowing this monster out. And instead of throwing away the key, you can clearly see that. Okay, let's go through his arrest record. And the dates, they kind of jump up and down. It's just the way that they do these things. But here's the main charge that he's in for. We got his whopping 11-year sentence. He's out by 2025. Okay. Then you can see as it progresses. So anyways, 8/31/2019, trespass, 7/27/2019, intoxication, 3/16/2017, public intoxication, 7/29/2016, violation of probation, 10/30/2014, public intoxication, 8/17/2013, public intoxication, 1/13/97, intoxication, 4/28/97, OWI, 5/27/97, contempt of court, 5/19/97, intoxication, 9/2/1997, intoxication, 12/26/1997, intoxication, 1/2/1998, criminal mischief. They dismissed that. Why not? 1/2/1998, criminal mischief, 7/27/1998, intoxication. This is going to go on for a long time. September 8th, 1998, intoxication. September 8th, 1998, possession of narcotics paraphernalia. October 18th, 1999, theft. May 5th, 27, theft, dismissed. Why not? Failure to appear, 12/21/99, dismissed. Why not? Theft, 2007. It just goes on and on and on. He has arrested on 8/21/2000 for intoxication. He has 6/13/2001 intoxication, 6/25/2001. Guess what? Intoxication. 7/2/2001. Again, intoxication. 1/28/2002. Ooh, they gave him an habitual. Look at that. What did they give him? 90 days jail. Really tough. But no, they suspended 86. So he did 4 days in jail for that and probation because obviously that makes sense. Contempt, non-payment of 5, 4/27/2006, 30 days jail, but they suspended the 30 days, so he got nothing. 2 years of probation. I wonder how the attorney describes this to the judge. He's a good man, Your Honor. He is just busy chasing the love of his life, the underage girl next door, Your Honor.
You are trash, Lindsay. You are trash.
1/28/2002, criminal mischief, dismissed. 2/18/2000. Do you guys get the point? I think we get the point. I really look at this. This is more operating vehicle, no consent, alcohol, intoxication. It just goes on and on and on. And they're releasing him to the street. And as we know what's going to happen. And that's what's going to happen. We know what's going to happen. He needs to be locked up for life, institutionalized. This isn't about, he's clearly a risk. He's clearly a menace. And it's the DAs, the judges, the system. No one cares. Someone is going to get killed or someone is going to get seriously hurt. And it's going to be because of the obvious. It's not going to be a surprise to anybody. Really, it's not. The DAs or whatever, they'll make a press release, blah, blah, blah. But we all know it's just a gimmick. This is so clear to anyone with any common sense that this is coming. And you might even look at his crimes and say they're kind of escalating. It goes from just a lot of public intoxications to 2 years of stalking. Can't make it up. And with that, we'll jump into one more crazy hearing. Another sex offender who actually, he absconded, he ran away. He took his ankle bracelet off and disappeared for 2 days. Yes, a sex offender of children. And I wonder how the parole board's going to answer that. He gives a very, very, very good excuse that let's see how they take it. Anyways, let's go.
All right.
Hey, Aaron, we can-
Amen. Who's up next? Meredith?
Hear you. Now we can hear you.
There we go.
There we go.
All right.
Okay, it looks like we've got Blake Christie with you, Aaron.
Yes.
All right, any updates, anything that we should know about him?
Nothing significant changed in his part of being back here. I do know over the new year, his grandfather passed away, which is a pretty big deal. And we raised him. And I had him previously when he was here, the last time for his release, and he had lost different family members. And I just noticed how he went through this grieving process this time compared to previous times, and it was just completely different how he managed his emotions and things he talked about with his other family and how he worked through those things. So I noticed that behavioral change a little bit from about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago to now. So please maybe grow a little bit. Maybe it's his medications, things like that. Maybe helps him a little bit.
Is he taking medications right now?
He is. I just checked because in the report I said he wasn't, and so I don't know if he just got put on them within the last 60 days, maybe, or what the deal was there. But I see he's back on the medications, so that might have been maybe the psych to death because of that. Lost his family. He made that request. I'm not sure.
That makes sense. Yeah, because I think that he had maybe in the past been receiving disability for his mental health. So I was wondering about how he was doing, not being on meds, but it sounds like he's back on them. So
Yeah, I say he's doing well. I didn't have any. Sometimes there were some breakdowns and stuff like that where he just come in here and talk. He hasn't had that. His composure's been good on the unit. Hasn't had any issues with staff, so I think he's handling it as good as can be anyway.
thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Jesse or James, any questions?
I do not.
No.
Then we're ready for him. Hi, good morning. Can we have you scoot up maybe just a little bit to make sure we can hear you?
Sorry,
There we go. Could you tell me your name and your state ID, please?
Blake Allen Christie, 685-1112.
Thank you, Mr. Christie. My name's Meredith Lamberti, and here with those are some things we might talk about today.
Yes, I do.
All right, and do you still want to have the interview?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so what's gonna happen is that each of the three of us might have some questions for you, and we'll start with our questions first. And then once we're done with our questions, I'll turn back to you, and that's when you'll have the opportunity to tell us anything else that you'd like for us to know, or anything that you might have prepared for today. Once you've had a chance to make that statement, then the three of us are gonna go into our deliberation, which is when we discuss what our decision's gonna be. And we'll do that here on the Zoom, so you'll be able to listen to our discussion as we're having it. And then once we reach a decision, I'll turn back to you, I'll deliver that decision, I'll explain anything about it that might be confusing, and then that'll end our interview for the day, okay?
Thank you.
Are you ready to get started?
Yes, I am.
All right, why don't you start by just giving us, a brief but detailed explanation of, what was going on that led to, first led to you going to the work release and then led to you revoking and coming to prison.
Last time, I ended up getting a strict parole. I was doing okay there for a little bit and, found out my grandma was real sick and I ain't gonna lie, I started getting high. It's just hard talking about her, mention her. She was like my mom, she meant everything to me. I know it's no excuse, and it's how I've dealt with it, my pain in the past, using, and I know it ain't right, and that's why I'm trying to work on it, but she ended up having cancer throughout the body. So they ended up putting me in jail, or they revoked me because I just kept getting high. I ended up sitting in jail, went back to the halfway house. I ended up getting a job, doing good there for a little bit, and then I got a call saying I need to get home right now. She's about to pass away. The halfway house let me go there, and I was there for maybe 5-10 minutes, and she ended up passing away, holding my hand, and it no excuse, and it messed me up. I ended up, you know, thinking about the wrong stuff. I ended up going back to halfway house, going to work, and the next day I ended up running. I ain't been lying to you. I had every intention of dying. It hurt a lot losing the run. I just didn't want to live anymore. So I went on the run. I tried to kill myself, and just wanted the pain to go away. And my sister, family member found me, and they just, my mom, dad, both my sisters, my grandpa had a real serious talk with me, and it told me how my grandma and grandpa would be looking down at me, and it kind of hit home, and I want to make them proud. I'm tired of being a disappointment to them. I'm tired of, I've got like over 16 years in prison, and I lost a lot of family members, saying I'm a disappointment. I want to prove to them that I can make something of my life, and I'm going to work on staying sober. And I told them I got to work on me before I can work on their relationship and doing things for them, and they understand. And I'm ready to change. I really am. I got everything set up for me this time, and got a good job lined up, and I have everything going for me. And I made a promise to them that I'm not going to get high anymore, and I'm not going to go on the run. I'm going to do everything I have to show everybody that I can make a life and be successful. This ain't a life I want to live. So I know I just lost my grandpa on the first, and mom ain't doing too good. So it's time for me to be a man and man up and start over.
Thank you for explaining all of that to us and, going into that grief and trauma. I know that must be pretty difficult in a public place, but we appreciate hearing from you and hearing you talk about the choices that you are making and how you want to be different. It takes a lot of vulnerability to be able to do that.
It is. I'm just tired of this life in here. I really am. And I know I said that last time, and I'm gonna do everything I got. I'm gonna go to counseling and NAs and everything. And my dad said as long as I complete the halfway house and do good for 3 months, that he'll come back into my life. And he's a very good sport. He don't believe in drugs, drinking, none of that. And he wants me to come live with him. And my main goal is to eventually move to Oregon with my aunt and uncle. My uncle's he used to be an addict.
If you are an alcoholic or were an alcoholic, you are an alcoholic today.
And now he counsels people on how to stay clean and all that. Go about your pain the right way. So I think it'd be good for me to eventually work my way up to Oregon.
Okay. Those sound like some good options for you. It sounds like addiction's been a big thing for you for a long time. And you mentioned counseling and AA. Are there any other things that you think you need to be able to address that?
I'm definitely good with my mental health. The last time I used, I think it was cut with something pretty bad. It messed my mind up pretty bad, and I'm always depressed and thinking about, hurting myself and all that. I don't want that anymore. That's why I reached out and had them put me on a little bit of medication now, and it's just I'm limited on what medication I can take because the job that I'm going to, if I can't be on a lot of medications, that's not going to let me be aware, or I can get hurt or someone else can get hurt, and I don't want that, so it's just unlimited on what I can take if I end up going back to the halfway house. But once when I get out, I'm definitely there's some medications my family's recommended, and I'm gonna try and get on it.
I think that was a really mature choice to reach out for that medication and, you know, try to stop yourself from getting to that same dark place. I think it shows a lot of growth.
Thank you.
And then my final question before I see if either of my colleagues have questions for you is you had mentioned having a job set up. So what is
Yeah.
that?
It's a place called Hormel in Dubuque. My buddy told me that they would hire me. It's a real good job. And once when I end up completing it, my main goal was get to Des Moines too, to transfer to an apartment there. Once when I complete the halfway house, and there's a place in Des Moines also. Why I want to go to the Hormel in Dubuque was they pick us up for free in Des Moines and take us to Osceola Hormel too, free to and from work. So that's why I'd like to do that until I can get it approved to the job that I really want to do. I just don't know if my parole officer will approve it or not, you know, but it's a job I always wanted to do. I just don't know if they're going to approve it.
All right. Well, thank you for answering my questions. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Let's see, Jesse, do you have any
Yeah,
questions?
I do. Hello, how are you
Hello.
today? So I'm gonna establish one thing right away. You said you're tired of being a disappointment. I'm gonna tell you this, you're not a disappointment. You made some disappointing decisions. Remember that, okay?
Thank you very much. I'm sorry.
So,
I know it just feels like it, you know, because I had so many people say,
I understand.
a lot of people say I'm a disappointment to my family in here. I really take stuff to heart. And
You are trash, Lindsay. You are trash.
I get that. I just want you to know a lot of that is the decisions you have made. It's not you, it's the decisions. It's like, how do you react to situations really is what's gonna determine how well you do in life. Just how you react, really that simple. Did you lose somebody else besides your grandmother recently?
yeah, my grandpa just passed away on the 1st, and it's
And I'm sorry,
Okay.
I'm sorry about the loss of your grandfather. But the reason I brought that up is because your counselor said the way you handle it was so much better. And I just want to commend you on that as well. So that just shows growth, okay?
I'm working on. I have a what's it called? I do something before
Thinking process.
compulsive. I have like real bad compulsive, you know, and that's another
OCD?
thing I've been working on. OCD and compulsive, like I do something without thinking of consequences. That's the
Impulsivity.
biggest. Oh, impulsive. Okay, sorry.
Okay. No, no worries at all. So, tell me about the fellows. Where did that come out of?
I just gotta watch what I say on here, especially if certain people are watching. I don't forget.
I understand.
People come after me, but it just started as a family thing, and it grew and kind of
Out of
got
what
out of
area?
hand. Got out of Atumwa,
Atoma, okay.
and got out of hand a little bit, well, quite a bit. I regret getting in it, but I can't take it back. You know, what's done is done, and I've been out of it for quite a while. That's why I've been coming to PC the last couple of times, and
Okay.
I regret it. I regret it.
So you're not currently active with them?
No, I haven't been. The last time I was active was, let's say 14, 15.
Okay. I appreciate you answering that. And I do understand the caution you have to answer with as well. I was gonna ask you, why did you struggle and why did you leave work release? But you explained that, and I mean, you were to the point that the depression was so bad that work release was just a drop in the bucket to you. So I get that. So
You are trash, Lindsay.
I'm gonna skip over that question. What drugs were you using when you were using?
Methamphetamine.
Was there ever a time you were using the needle as well?
Yeah. Yeah. It's when I tried killing myself, that's what I used, but I promised my family I'd stay away from all that, and I get real bad when I use it before. It's not good. And
Have you found anybody that you can trust, that you can talk to about the feelings that you go through your head when you're depressed or struggling or whatever? Is there somebody in your life that you can go to?
yeah, out on the street, it's my sister and my real dad. You know, they're usually pretty supportive and talk me through it. If I really get down or start in a bad place, I just go to them and they help me get through it.
My last question for you is, what makes you happy?
What makes me happy?
Yep.
My family, and just you know, I love being busy. I'm a family person. I love work, love keep busy, and I miss a lot of my family. And every time I am out there, I'm real happy around them. It's just thing that really gets me is the restrictions that get put on me. You know, with me being an SO. Because the first time I was out, they let me be around my nieces and nephews, and ever since I came back, they let me be around. And that's what really kind of puts me down. You know, and they always ask about me and tell me they want to talk to me, and I always get told if they say hi or get on the phone that I have to immediately hang up, and it just real big in the family person. You know, it hurts me, and I got to tell them I can't talk to them or hang out.
Right. So I appreciate you respecting the rule, you know, in general, and it is hard, but I have no more questions for you. Thank you for answering the ones I did have.
You're welcome. Thank you.
James, any questions?
Thought I had one or two, but him talking and sharing with both of you two, I'm good.
All right. So, Mr. Christie, now's the time for you to tell us anything else that you'd like for us to know or anything that you might have prepared for us today.
Think we went over everything. I'm just hope you guys really think about it and consider it. If you guys do give me the chance, I promise you won't see me back, and I won't let you guys down.
Thank you. Appreciate that. While you sit back and listen, we'll let you know what our decision is.
Thank you.
All right. So, Jesse or James, what are your thoughts on recommendations? This would be putting him back out on a special sentence with the 10B to start in the work release.
I can go ahead. I thought he did a good job. I thought he was sharing. I thought he was being transparent. I thought he showed a side where he was trying to be different in opening up, which has been a difficulty.
You are trash, Lindsay. You are trash.
Due to some of the tragedies and challenges that he's had with some of his loss. But trying to grow from that and trying to be better. I enjoyed his sharing with both of you about the person he's trying to be today than the person he was prior to being incarcerated. The accident.
Jesse, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, is this an SSG or WRG? This one. This
SSG
is gonna
with
be
the 10B.
Yeah. So yeah, I am going to be in agreement with the DOC recommendation to work release. At first I was wondering why did he walk away from the work release last time, and after the explanation of where his mindset was. And then after hearing the counselor saying that the way he reacted, there shows some growth there for me. I think this time around can be different and beneficial for him for work release. So I'm going to go ahead and say yes. And the same codes that James had to mention.
You are trash, Lindsay.
Let me make sure I'm getting everything typed in. I'm also gonna support this release. I appreciated him going in depth that explanation so we understood, what was going on. This revocation was, substance abuse related. And I think it's time for him to go out back on this special sentence. And I appreciated the conversation and the changes that he's made. So I have the 10B, the 20B no early discharge, 30A no contact with minors, 40A substance abuse, mental health, and med compliance, and a 50A. I think that'll match up with what his last special sentence letters were.
That's the 20B. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, so Mr. Christie, you heard our discussion, and we are gonna go ahead and release you back out to your special sentence. The terms are gonna be very similar to last time, if not almost exactly the same. It's just that the letters and numbers have changed since your revocation. So the 10B is that you'll start out at the work release, then no early discharge that you stay on for the length of your special sentence is now a 20B. The no contact with a minor child is now a 30A, and that's at the discretion of your PO. That wouldn't need to come back to us. And then the 40A is the same, it's treatment codes. We'd like you to continue to address your history of substance abuse, engage in some sort of mental health counseling, and then take the medications that work for you. It doesn't mean that you're stuck with the ones that you're on right now, but it does mean that if you want to make any changes or taper off of them, that you do it with a doctor and not just on your own. And then the final one is a prohibition on drinking alcohol or being places where alcohol is the primary activity. So it'd be like liquor stores, bars that don't sell food. And then if your PO thinks it's necessary, you could possibly have UAs as well. Any questions for me about what any of those codes mean?
No, I do not. Thank you.
Well, thank you.
all. I really do appreciate it. Thank you all.
Yeah, thank you for your time today. Get out there and do well.
Thank
Good
you.
luck.
I will. Thank
Good
you.
luck.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Iowa Parole Board, a universe where running away from DOC custody, when you take off your ankle monitor and disappear, when that is not called escape, but instead it's called running away. When the parole board says, I understand why you would have done that. You were so stressed. But just wait till I go through the actual facts of this case. It's going to melt your mind. This was not his first escape. It was not his second escape. It was his third or even fourth escape. We'll go through it now. Thank you, Sir Richard. This guy, first I got to tell you, he's locked up for what he did to a child. The judge gave him probation. Are we surprised? Are we surprised with a 10-year suspended sentence? He violated that probation immediately. And then he served his 10 years. And the second he got out, he cut off his ankle monitor and disappeared. And he did it again and again and again and again and again. And that they don't think that's dangerous. They don't even challenge him. Oh, my grandmother, I ran away and I was there and she happened to die while I was holding her hand. It's like, oh, really? If you were just visiting your grandmother, why did you cut your ankle monitor off? Why don't they just ask that question? They're incompetent, pathetic. You're not you're just making bad decisions. No. When you harm children, you get to earn the title of being a bad person. There is such a thing as bad people in this world. That's the first thing you teach your kids. Not everyone is good. Not everyone has good intentions. Not everybody. There is evil in this world, Mr. Parole Board and Mrs. Parole Board. And you guys are delusional. To release him right back as the famous Einstein quote, repeating the same thing, expecting different results. It's the definition of insanity. And we see it time and time and time again. And man, I was gonna say if I'm a betting person, I do sometimes bet. It's fun. I bet what I'm willing to lose, but I'd be willing to bet a little more this time that he is going to abscond again. You know, it's interesting how they don't even ask questions. Well, do you have a sponsor? Are you gonna go to AA? What's your It's like, no, I'm gonna go move in with someone who's. It's like, are you kidding me? Let me go through the information of the insanity of this case. When it's on paper, oof, it's even more. It's just you just can't make it up. So let's share this tab with you. Let's scroll down. Let's make sure that we're looking at the same thing. Okay. And here we go. We're going to go on a ride. It's still not great. Let me pause it and get it better. Oh, Kidoki. I think this is a little better. So it's going to go, we're going to jump around a little bit, but I organized it ahead of time. So he's arrested on 6/19/2008 for SA of a victim between 12 and 13 years old. A child. He was sentenced to 10 years in prison. Now, you know it's bad if you get a 10-year sentence because they don't really care that much about children. But it wasn't that, or actually probably was still. The judge suspended it. He suspended it. No, 10 years, but don't worry. Just 3 years probation, okay? Because it's just a child. How insane is that? Now, he only lasted 2 months because he violates his probation within 2 months. And they good for them at least. The judge was pissed off, and they imposed a 10-year sentence. And by the way, he had another charge for SA, right, which they crossed. So it wasn't just one charge; it was 2. And it was assault with intent, sex abuse, which they nulled entirely. Okay. Then, you know what's interesting is that while he was out, they arrested him a bunch of times and it didn't revoke his probation. So as you could see, he revoked his probation was revoked on I'm sorry guys. It was revoked. Anyways, it was revoked on 3/6/2009. I don't know. It was revoked 3 months later, but look at the arrests he has in between. So he's arrested on 3/6/2009 for burglary, which they dismissed. He has arrests on also dismissed. He's arrested. Okay, third arrest, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. Arrested on 11/2/2009, criminal mischief, they dismissed. So as you see, he was getting arrested even while he was out on bond, and finally they revoked him, or they got him in front of the judge. Then as soon as he gets out, this is like 10 years to the date, he violates his parole, right? Because it's from 2009. He serves his 10-year sentence. He doesn't get parole. It's in Iowa. I have no idea how that's possible. But he serves all 10 years, it looks like. He violates on 7/16/2019. But I don't know. Apparently, they didn't do anything because 3 days later, 7/19/2019, they call it a voluntary absence from custody. Don't worry, they do call it escape a few times. I don't know why they decided to do that. Iowa, I guess, is a little more soft on crime than we ever could have imagined. 15 days in jail. A sex offender to disappear, and they only get 15 days. Okay. He's then arrested on 12/29/2020. So it seems he lasted, I don't know, I guess that's 3, 4 months, 5 months. Violation of parole. Doesn't say what it is. 3/8/2021, he has his escape. This time they call it escape. They sentenced him to 1 year in jail, which it looks like he serves, right? Because it's almost a year to the date from the arrest. So it's assuming he never gets out March 8th. March 22nd, 2021. No, never mind. They sentenced him to a year. Huh, well, I'm wrong. But he doesn't do the time. So I guess they suspended it or something because it's I don't know. I can't figure it out. March 22nd, 2021, he has a violation. I guess that's what it was. 9/29/2021, he's sentenced. Arrested on 4/4/2023. So he does do time. Then he's arrested again for violation of parole on 4/4/2023. And then he's arrested again on June 8th, 2023 This is the crime that we're here for today. So everything we just went through, we are here for the crime of June 8th, 2023, when he ran away. They call it absence, voluntary absence. Okay. And this parole hearing, mind you, only just happened. So he gets his parole opportunity 5 months later. 5 months. I mean, this parole hearing happened January 2025. No, a year. Sorry. A year and 5 months he serves. And they release him right back into this mess. But they trust him. Don't worry. He's a good person. And you know, it's funny. Even in this parole hearing, he's trying to manipulate the board to allow him to spend time with his nephews and nieces. And like I was like, oh my God, are they going to make that a condition? That's not fair. I can't see. She's 12 and 13 years old. We don't have any information on that. We don't know the details on that. It's like he's an habitual offender, and he needs to be locked up for a very long time just for the simple fact of protecting the public. You know, the Iowa, they don't understand that there are 3 reasons for being locked up. It's not about being mean. It's not about locking up bad people. It's about, you know, you have the retribution and you have the rehabilitation, which there's no chance this guy's rehabilitated at all. And then you have just the third very important part, which is protecting the public. They don't get that. And also, I do want to point out Iowa has a huge problem with absconding. Their work release is very different than like Louisiana work release or other work releases that maybe we're used to. As you can see, you get to sleep where you want, you get to go where you want, you get to be where you want, and it's very easy to abscond. So whenever the Iowa Parole Board says, oh, we're releasing you to work release right after a victim is begging them not to because they're in fear for their life, this is how easy it is for them to escape. And with that, I'll let you go.
I thought he did a good job. I thought he was sharing. I thought he was being transparent. I thought he showed a side where he's trying to be different in opening up, which has been a difficulty due to some of the tragedies and challenges that he's had with some of his loss. But trying to grow from that and trying to be better. I enjoyed his sharing with both of you about the person he's trying to be today than the person he was prior to being incarcerated.